I just want to touch on what you said, because ever since I stopped reading this book, I tried to stop using the words my, mine, I, to try to detach myself a little bit from this sense of identity that I've developed over the years. And Tolle, I copied this down from the book. He defines ego as identification in form, which is basically what you guys explained. And when I was attempting to do that, it was so hard to not identify with everything that defines me. And I really like how Christine sort of explained that as well, because we generate this identity, but when we become so attached to it that anything that threatens that identity, and you brought up the challenges that you face with how your identity changes when you get married, because that threatened the identity that you were so comfortable in living in, and then it then brought in changes that threaten that identity. And Tolle talks about how we react poorly to things that threaten that identity, that threaten that ego.
Christine, would you say that you have seen a similar development in terms of ego, the way that Tolle has described it, or have you seen it play out any differently in your own life?
Oh, absolutely. And, just like he talked about the child with the toy, and the toy is his or hers and says, this is mine. I feel like we have the same attachments to people, and that's where my attachment to my partner came in. It was like, if I lost this, I might as well lose a limb, because it became so ingrained into my definition of self. And I think Eckhart goes beyond that, but also like an idea of who you are. So a lot of people pride themselves on being, the straightforward person, the I take no crap kind of person, or I am a very kind person. It's an attachment to an idea, not just a thing, not just an object, but an idea. And like you said, jobs, some people pride themselves so much on their education or their careers that God forbid, if that's taken away from them, they're lost. They don't know who they are. Many people that I know, including myself, and I actually wanted to give a disclaimer before this, is that I'm nowhere near an enlightened state. I'm included in this too, but I don't know what I would do with myself if I didn't have a job to go to.
Yeah.
Who would I be? And Uriel, you said you tried not to use I or mine or, any of those words. And it is really hard, because I think this is something that takes a lot. It's like meditation or prayer. They're all the same thing. And it's essentially what it is living an unceasing life of prayer or meditation.
Yeah.
Is kind of the goal that we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And I think that is living. I think that's true, authentic living.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what he talks about, is living disconnected from the ego, or at least being aware of the ego and always remembering or feeling alive in who you are.
Christine, you brought up something that I was really hoping was naturally going to come up, which is this idea of awareness. What I loved about what Tolle talks about in terms of awareness is that he says that ego and awareness cannot coexist, because the moment that you become aware of the fact that ego is in charge, that is the moment that you begin to disengage from that. And that to me was very helpful, because it helps me understand that while, this has been an ongoing problem and is going to be something I'm going to have to work through for quite some time to be able to overcome, I'm glad that I have at least started to recognize the way that it impedes me, the way that it does not serve my highest ideals. I don't know if this would stand out or this stood out to you guys the same way, but that to me made me feel much better about the progress that I have been trying to make in this area. because I like the analogy he uses that the moment that you realize that something is an illusion, it loses all power. And that illusion of us being separate, of me feeling like, oh yeah, this is somebody that I need to overcome to get to where I want to go, understanding that that is just ego, and that is just something that I, for one reason or another, have adopted that has served me in some type of way, knowing that that is something that I can identify is an issue and allow that to start, or allow myself to start letting go of that. It was reassuring and kind of helped me understand that, yeah, there is hope for me. Thanks for stopping by the channel and taking the time to view this video. If this added value to you, be sure to click right here where you can see the full conversation between myself, Uriel, and Christine, where we dive deep into A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle and the lessons that it has to teach about ego.